Charlie Kirk is an American hero, and unfortunately he's no longer with us. I'm a relatively new fan of his. He dropped the hammer of the gods on Klaus Schwab and the New World Order. And it's the first time I've seen a video of him like really discussing the New World Order, Klaus Schwab, the Great Reset, etc., etc. He's obviously very against it. He brings in some biblical stuff with it too. So very interesting stuff. So this video is going to just merge into that little segment. I clipped it and I'm bringing it here for you. I hope you guys enjoy Charlie Kirk on the New World Order.
Fortunately, there's been some people that have attended the World Economic Forum over the last decade that would shock you. Rick Warren, for example, was a presenter at the World Economic Forum from Saddleback Church, where he said globalism will only be possible if the American church goes along with it. Now, I'm not here on a crusade against Rick Warren, wrote one of the most impactful books on Christianity of the last generation. But it does deserve to be mentioned when we talk about this, that some of the most vocal and high-profile pastors in America have been aiding and assisting the World Economic Forum over the last decade. So what do they want? Well, you read right here in the book, they want a reset. Okay, but then the logical question should be, how can you reset something if it's not broken? So you gotta break it first. And that's what you're living through right now. Properly understood, you will find great comfort when you understand their philosophy. Because I know a lot of you are probably watching the news and you get very confused, understandably, because it feels as if this is an intentional campaign of destruction of America, of the West, of our economic strength. And you say, what are they doing? Why are they doing this? Because the strategy is to shatter it and then reset it. Inflation, the open borders, the destruction of national sovereignty, the deterioration of normalcy. Literally, they talk in their propaganda about getting rid of the idea of normal. The queering of children is what they openly talk about in their circles. It's all part of a strategy to break it first, because then reset it, because there's nothing like a crisis to give a lot of power and centralize all this power. And so that's kind of the buildup. So this man who runs it is a guy by the name of Klaus Schwab. He's a professor. He has an immense amount of power. He's German. He convenes these people, and he's trying to get people to buy in to a vision. Now, this is something I think a lot of Christians miss, and Jack, you and I were playing around with this backstage, which is we as Christians have a view of the end. We win. God wins, let me put it that way. But they have their own theory of the end too. There's two eschatologies. They talk openly in their philosophy about what they think eternity will be. The merging of man and machine, for example, the uploading of consciousness. This is very important that they are taking Christian eschatological promises and then hijacking it for their own purposes. We'll explain that deeper throughout the evening. But what Klaus Schwab has done, which is very, very brilliant, he talks about here in the book, The Great Reset. In fact, why don't we just read from his book, because the media says, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Oh, really? The broader point is this: the possibilities for change and the resulting new order are now unlimited, only bound by our imagination, for better or for worse. You get the point. We should take advantage of this unprecedented opportunity to reimagine our world in a bid to make it better and more resilient as it emerges on the other side of this crisis. They're saying right here, COVID-19 is a once in a millennia opportunity to reimagine our planet. Break the American financial system, destroy the borders. This gives them an opportunity to do something that, quite honestly, has not been even attempted or tried in quite some time, which is best articulated in Genesis 11, which is the Tower of Babel. It is trying to rebuild what Nimrod tried to do in Genesis 11, which is one language, one government, not to glorify God, but to build something that would eventually challenge God all the way up to the heavens. And God scattered them for a reason and for a purpose. In fact, in Genesis 11, God says, my goodness, if these humans can do this when they all can speak the same language, they're up to no good. And he brought confusion. In fact, Babel literally means confusion. It means, not orderly or can't speak properly. This is an attempt to rebuild the spirit of the Tower of Babel. One government, no borders, one currency, and this kind of spiritual battle's unfolding right in front of us as articulated in their playbook. It's all here, The Great Reset by Klaus Schwab.
The thing that really kills me about what he talked about is he describes perfectly why they're doing the things they're doing, how the system initially isn't broken. So what they do is they have to create the problem. Problem, reaction, solution. The Hegelian dialectic. This is the modus operandi of these evil sons of bitches. And so what they do is they look out at a situation and then they go, how can we change this to fit our designs? And so things like inflation and the pandemic and the illegal immigration and the transgendering and the manipulation and the deception and the twisting of everything into some kind of dark, evil type of situation. That's what they've been doing for years, especially since 2020. But this has been, decades in the works. And so now they get to then come in as our saviors and offer the solution to the problem, which is going to be digital IDs and a one world government and a one world religion under the Antichrist, of course. And you're not going to be able to buy and sell unless you're part of this system. So it's going to be a living hell going forward. I can't describe to you on this video how heartbroken I am, because I'm only 43. The rest of my life is going to be extremely challenging. Hopefully we really are near the end. I don't know when the tribulation starts, but my God, if it doesn't start soon, I don't know. It's not going to be easy living. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening. Hope you learned something. Like and subscribe. If you're still here, drop me a comment saying hello. Reach out. Let's have a little bit of digital communication here. All right, appreciate it. Have a great day.